What's up, Phillies fans? That's right, it's Phightins final, and the Phillies sweep the Cubs 3-game series at Wrigley Field. First time they swept the Cubs out in Wrigley Field since 2015. So big win. What was once a problem and a worry, and we're already talking about, getting a starting pitcher in here. We were so worried and nervous about what this pitching staff could do. We're gonna have to find somebody to replace Aaron Nola. We're gonna have to find somebody to replace Taijuan Walker. Is Ranger going to be able to go back to what Ranger was? That's not a question anymore. I mean, if anything, over this month of June, I mean, the bats were hot at certain points, but the month of June has been started pitching has been or pitching in general, but the starting pitching has been amazing. I mean, we got two guys in the organization who probably be up for pitcher of the month, for the National League, at least in Taijuan Walker, and most likely Ranger would probably get the head on it a little bit. But the Phillies win tonight. They win 3-1 in Chicago. It's a 3-game sweep. Like I said, the first time they swept in Chicago since 2015 at Wrigley Field. It's a good time to be alive. It's hopefully they can continue to hopefully get some more ground made, because even though the Phillies have had a stellar month of June, unfortunately the Braves had a little bit more of a stellar month because they took the 2-game series from us this month earlier. Miami is continuing to win and staying in front of us, as well as San Fran, and we'll get into that in a few. I know it's a little early to be watching still the standings, but it is something to look at going closer to the All-Star break. It's just like I said, it's exciting when the Phillies are playing well in this town, and right now they're playing well. The bats are having some timely hitting. There's some defensive mistakes tonight, but nothing that really held them back. Some big defensive plays that actually propelled them forward. And Chicago's not a bad team. They're not too far behind us in the wild card standings, which we'll get into a little bit later as well. But it is it's all pitching it's all pitching, but it's mostly pitching. It's a good chunk of pitching. It's just funny how this has flipped around. Walter winning with pitching. Phillies only struck out 5 times, but walked 0 times. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. The strikeout ratio, hopefully that starts to come down, because that has been another thing. Even when they're hitting well, they were still striking out a lot. But it's interesting. It's an interesting way that they're winning. We would have thought the bats would be the way that this team wins throughout the whole year for the most part. And the bats struggled in the beginning. Some bats were hot enough to give us some wins, but pitching was April and into May was a roller coaster ride. And it didn't matter who was, if it was your ace or your 5 guy, it was not pretty, and we're still sitting right behind San Fran in that wild card spot. So we got to keep our eye on that going forward. But let's get into the game a little bit. I'll remind you guys that this Phightins final is brought to you by Sherry'sTickets.com. That's right, Sherry'sTickets.com, family owned and operated since 1946. There is no hidden fees, only great prices at those hard-to-get tickets for sports, concert events, theater events. Plenty of Phillies tickets to go out. I know the fireworks shows are coming back home, or are going to be going off. Coming home to take on the Marlins. And you get additional 10% off by using that great promo code EOP10. That's right, promo code EOP10, 10% off anything you get at Sherry'sTickets.com. So, yeah, guys, so like I said, for those who are just joining me, it's a 3-1 Phillies victory in Chicago with the sweep. They broke out the brooms. It was good to see. Trey Turner had a heck of a game tonight, 2 for 4, a double, a run, 2 stolen bases. I was going to say, and Walker again. This started pitching is just amazing. It's just they're keeping this in the game. So when you do only score 3 runs, and you still can put this team away. Craig Kimbrell shutting people down. It's an exciting time right now, and it's good to see that, what was once a weak spot for this Philadelphia Phillies team is not currently. It's actually the strength of this team. Marte came in, and we'll look at the pitching real quick. Like I said, 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, a walk, and 6 strikeouts for Walker, was sporting a 3.93 ERA because he struggled in the beginning of the season. But in the month of June, I think it's like a 1.50 right now. So that's it's pretty damn impressive. and you have one guy's actually doing better, which in Ranger Suarez. So the two guys you weren't sure about, um, doing an amazing job. And like I said, probably have a chance in voting for, pitcher of the month for the MLB for National League. We'll find out. Ellis is chiming in. Go Phillies. Yeah, exactly, Ellis. Phillies will win the World Series this year. William Dewar with the going just right at it, right there, right for the jugular. Going right for the World Series win. William, I like it. I like it. Bring the fire. I think that's awesome. Absolutely. I'm on board with that. I mean, listen, how you can't be excited right now. You're ending the month of June this way. Well, technically, tomorrow is the last game in June for them. Actually, wait, hold on 1 second. That is absolutely correct. So, yeah. So, tomorrow will be the last game in June for the Phillies. So, we'll see how that ends up with the Nationals. So, hopefully, that's a win and they can continue this win streak. And just really, you have to because the guys in front of us, they're continuing the win streak too. And that's what we need to combat them, and hopefully they drop a game here and there, and we can ink our way up into the standings because that's what we need to do. I know a lot of people are like, "Well, I'm not worried about getting first place or I'm getting the division. I don't care about the division. Just getting the playoffs." I agree to a point, just getting the playoffs, but I don't think the division is nowhere near out of possibility. Now, if the Braves need to have a coming to Jesus moment where they have a little bit of a mediocrity hit them. So we will see how that pans out because right now I don't see that for the Braves. But I'm not saying it's out of they're out of contention for it, but they just need to keep playing better than the people in front of them because it's going to be a tight run, I think, from here to the end. William, hottest team right now, might hit a bump then fire right back up before the playoffs, might win the NL East. Yeah, dude, William, I'm on board with you, man. I'm not out on the NL East as an option for them to win. I really am not. I think this team, sky's the limit in some ways. Just as good as they want to play, as long as they can you know, keep hitting well. I mean, games like this. I mean, from stem to stern for this whole series, it's been the Phillies. There's been no other. It wasn't like, oh, well, maybe the Cubs will get this one. I mean, got a little nerve wracked last night, up 8-1, and then Nola had some Nola moments and they got 8-4, but that was about it. Once I went to the bullpen, I mean, this bullpen's pretty damn good right now. You have Marte, who, didn't have the greatest moments for a little while, but he did a good job. Soto came out 1 inning, took care of business. Kimbrel came out with a strikeout. He's locked in. And I'll tell you, I was a guy right now going, I asked early in this year, like late April, is Craig Kimbrel cooked? Like, I asked that question. I said live on EOP at 8:30 on Wednesdays. I said it in articles. I've said it on finals. I asked that question. I'm eating crow, but I'm a fan who likes eating crow when it favors my team. I'd rather be wrong about these things because crow tastes good when you're winning. So I'm okay. Craig looks really good. I think our rotation will need to change for the playoffs. They've got to do Ranger, Wheeler, then Walker. I don't know. I think you're going to leave Wheeler at the 1. He's had a couple. I want to say. See, the thing is Wheeler had what anybody else should be happy with games. So, and I don't think it's going to continue like this. So I think you're going to stay Wheeler, Ranger, Walker. If the season was ending today and we were going to the playoffs, yeah, Ranger, Wheeler, Walker, I get it. But I think by that time it's going to be Wheeler, Ranger, Walker. It'd be hard to have a guys go to the end of the season, pitching lights out like they are constantly. But Aaron Nola, played himself right into the 4 spot easily. Unless Sanchez really starts playing better, maybe play himself in the 5 spot. But I talked about this with my co-host Joey Sheeran last night. I said, I'm okay. Maybe it'll play out. Aaron Nola can sign for less money and he'll be happy to do. I doubt it, but maybe nobody's gonna be willing to pay him any money he's looking for. So maybe he'll stay with the Phillies, depending on how things work out. Because they put contract negotiations on hold in the beginning of the season, and Aaron's still not having terrible. It's like if you subtract 1 inning from Aaron's games, he's having great games, but it's those innings that make things difficult to look, not to look past and to keep your eye on and make things a little nerve wracking. But that's your pitching tonight. Like I said, 9 innings, 7 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts across the board for your Phightins final, or for your fighting Phillies tonight against the Cubs at Wrigley Field with the sweep 3-1 for those who are just joining us. So let's get into the scoring. And the scoring again, tell me if you heard this one before. Solo home run, leadoff solo home run by Kyle Schwarber. Just like it's his thing, starts the game. Literally first pitch of the game. 25th leadoff home run for Kyle, and first pitch of the game. I don't think Tom McCarthy had a chance to finish his first sentence before that he had to change gears and that ball was skyrocketed out of the yard. So it'll be interesting to see. People talked about, can Kyle do this? Can Kyle do that? Should he be moved down to the 3 or 4? No, I was one of those people. I didn't think like you want a power hitter down there, but he's producing, and maybe there's something more to setting the tone of the game with a knock like that versus worrying about getting other guys on base and getting another run or two. Bryce Harper tonight, still not hitting for power. I'm guessing it's still the recuperation from the injury. So I'm not super worried about it, but I do a little worry that maybe he won't get his power back this year at all. I mean, now I know it's a little different when a pitcher versus a batter about power following Tommy John, but we've seen plenty of pitchers following Tommy John lose velocity. So it'd be interesting to see how this plays out, but hopefully he can maybe comes out of the All-Star break after a little rest and we'll see. Gets himself together. Maybe needs a little home cooking, spend time with the wife and kid. I don't know. Little 4th of July barbecue. We'll see. I think Nick should go to cleanup hitter spot. I mean, I wouldn't be put past. I mean, he's the best hitter. He's hitting. Nick Castellanos is batting a 309 right now. I mean, why not? Didn't have any hits tonight, but Kyle Schwarber, he was a 1 for 4 with 1 hit, 1 RBI, and a strikeout. Turner was 2 for 4 with 1 run, the 2 hits, like I said, and he only struck out once. Castellanos didn't strike out at all, but didn't. It was 0 for 4. Harper was 1 for 4 with 2 ribbies and a strikeout, and that would be all the scoring between him and Kyle to give you the 3 runs. JT Realmuto was 1 for 4, which you saw that double at the end of the game in the 9th inning, only struck out once. Bryson Stott was 0 for 4. Marsh was 1 for 4. Josh Harrison was 0 for 3, and Cody Clemens was 1 for 3 with a run. One of those ribbies that Bryce Harper drove in. So, and that would be your scoring tonight. The Cubbies only had 1 run, and that was from Bellinger. He hit that triple to score. So that's all the Cubs got, and that's about all they would see, and that's kind of was their demise. I wonder, some people ask, is them coming off, were the Phillies lucky enough to see them after being in England? Are they tired? Is there a jet lag thing? I can see that for day 2 or for the first game, even the second game. But the pitching has been demanding, and it's hard. And you have a lineup that can bash. I mean, they can still bash. This team it struggles at times at the bat. So I mean, if this team at its full notion, it's give you chills if you're the other team. I mean, even the best pitchers on there have to look at it and get a little nervous. So the Nationals come to town this weekend for a 3-game series. Nationals are a bad team, but you don't let your guard down. You don't let that fact let your guard down, because you have a 6:05 start tomorrow, a 4:05 start on Saturday, and a 1:35 start on Sunday. Because then after that, they got the Tampa Bay Rays coming they're going to Tampa, I should say, July 4th, 5th, and 6th. And then they're going to stay in Florida and take on the Marlins the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and then it's the All-Star break. So they need to take care of business in Washington. 2 series sweeps in a row. I mean, is that too much to ask for? Am I being greedy? You guys tell me. I could be a little greedy on my behalf, but that's what I want to see. I want to see it. I want to see it happen. Let's go to the standings. But before we do, I want to remind you guys to go to you want to go out. I mean, our boys at Philly Sports Trips are out here in Chicago. They were out in Chicago cheering this on. So they had a whole series. They got to watch the team sweep. So there right now some good luck charms out there. Be part of those good luck charms. Go out to Pittsburgh coming up July 28th. It's you can't it is an amazing trip. You're like Pittsburgh, PNC Park's a beautiful park. Pittsburgh's playing some decent baseball. They dropped off a little bit, but they are right behind. They're not too far behind us in this standing. So it's can make they need a team that you need to win against and get some distance between other teams. So we'll find out. But go to phillysportstrips.com. Pittsburgh trip is at PNC Park, July 28th to the 31st. They have a San Diego trip. They have, as we talked about the other night, there's international trips. They're going to have a trip to London for next year. If you want to sign up to go to Phillies take on the Mets in London. They have a trip for the Ryder Cup coming up to Italy. If you want to get to that, all the away games for the Eagles, they're going to have a trip for everyone. Get on it. Buses are selling out fast. phillysportstrips.com. All right, let's check out the standings right now. Phillies are still in third place, 10 games behind the Braves. Again, Braves are winning in front of us. And so are the Marlins. It makes things difficult to gain any ground. We're 4 games behind the Marlins. So this Marlins series, these next, I guess, 9 games are going to be really important. 3 with the Nationals, 3 with Tampa, and you really want to keep your head above water. You got to be able to beat Tampa. I mean, maybe you're not going to sweep that series, but you need to go in there and maybe take that series and keep winning series. Keep winning series. That's what you have to do. But the Braves, they are not letting up. So you got to keep pace with them until they stumble and they can fall back. But like I said, it was going to lead into a 3-game series in Miami right before the All-Star break. So that can really leave either a really good taste or a really bad taste in Phillies fans, depending on that outcome of that game. So because traditionally, like lately in Florida and Miami, the Phillies tend to struggle. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But right now, like I said, they're 43 and 37, 4 games behind the Marlins, 6 and 10 games behind the Braves. The Mets just continue to just look Metsy. They're 17 and a half games out. They're 7.5 games behind us. They're 3 and 7 in their last 10 games. The Nationals, the only team doing worse than them right now, they're 21 games out. So, I mean, this is where you got to stomp on the throats. You squeaked one out with the Mets giving you a series win last series. You just swept Chicago right now. Now you're going to go up against the Nationals, who are a bad team, and they're 32 and 48. And you really need to take 2 or 3, if not, I mean, a sweep would be phenomenal. But if you can come out of this, 47-37, that's that would be amazing, being 10 games over 500, because I mean we're just 5 games over now at this point. So or 6 games, I'm sorry. So it'd be interesting, and we need to keep this momentum rolling. This is what they need. This team looks really good. Like I said, outside of Bryce Harper, still trying to find himself a little bit, but I mean he's still producing. He's still 2 RBI knock tonight. So he's still there. He's still a threat to teams. Kyle's just, since that calendar turns June, he's a different guy. Nick Castellanos captain consistency this year. Big arm, even big defensive plays in right field at times. I mean, he's doing great. Brandon Marsh had a little up and down, but playing better. Bryson Stott cooled off a little bit, but he's still doing well and hitting well for a guy his age. With his inexperience at this point. I mean, he has some experience, don't get me wrong, but he's still young, still in the maturation process of the situation. So a lot of good things. Looking around, just peeking our eyes around the league, and we are going to do that in a second. I remind you guys that this is also brought to you by CherryInjuryLaw.com. David R. Cherry is the man at the Cherry firm. Workers' compensation, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, criminal law, you name it, he will take care of you in all those needs. He will fight for your rights. Call him at 610-565-0300 or call him at CherryInjuryLaw.com. So let's look around the league here, and I'm going to pull up the games going on. Right now, let's do this. Currently, games that are over. Oops, I went too far. There we are. Finals. Milwaukee beat the Mets 3-2. San Fran, thank God, lost today to Toronto 2-1. Miami beat Boston 2-0. Chicago White Sox beat Los Angeles Angels 9-7. Tampa Bay is won 6-1 over Arizona. The Yankees beat Oakland 10-4. Cleveland lost to Kansas City 4-3. That was in extra innings. Texas Rangers lost to the Detroit Tigers 8-5. Pittsburgh beat San Diego 5-4, so that was a little helpful for us to keep them off our backs. As well as LA is in the top of the first, 1-0 against Colorado right now in Colorado. So we'll see how that turns out. But it would be nice to see Colorado come back and win that. But, you know, that's a tall order. Colorado is not a good team as of right now. So that is about it. Like I said, the Phillies will return to South Philly for a little action against the Nationals. And it's kind of funny how this is working out. Like they're home for the Mets, they're away for the Cubs, they're back home for the Nationals, then they're away 2 series in Florida for the Rays and the Marlins, and then they are off. So it's kind of back and forth for them, which hopefully doesn't take a toll on the team. But 3 games against the Nationals, they need to take care of business in Washington. I mean, like I said, a sweep's hard to do against no matter how bad a team is in your division. But I don't think it's asking for too much. This team is bad. So you need to step on their throats, and kind of like they did last year. Like, you go up there and you use that to make yourself feel good by putting up a lot of knocks and just do the job. Get the job done. Let them continue to bottom feed and use it to bolster yourself up and keep those other people in the wild card standings off your back. And like I said, the wild card standings right now, Miami's in the top spot, Dodgers are in the second spot, and San Fran's in the third spot. They were 1.5 games out from San Francisco of trying to eclipse them. But then a loss tonight becomes helpful, but they got to still win, and San Fran's got to still lose. Cincinnati is creeping up behind us. They're a half a game. They're only a half a game behind us. Milwaukee is tied with them. Pittsburgh, they're 6.5 games out, and Chicago 7 games out of that last wild card spot. San Diego's 8. Mets keep falling; they're 9. Nationals are 12.5. So we need these teams to lose. So other than that, I'm Big Al, guys. Thank you for joining the Phightins final tonight. Phillies win 3-1 with the sweep against Chicago at Wrigley Field. They're coming home to play the Nationals starting tomorrow night at 6:05. You will see. I don't know who's on the Phightins final tomorrow, but you will see us here at EOP, Maddie B, Mike Laro, and or Pat Bernard taking the coverage for Friday night. I'm Big Al, and I am out of here.